Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let us begin lesson 5.6, which is the absolute value family. So we're going to start off by solving some absolute value equations, and then we're going to do a little bit of graphing. All right, here we go. So remember, the absolute value is the distance from zero. So when we're talking about distance, we're always going to talk about a positive value. So absolute values, remember, equal a positive. So we're going to say always positive. Now that doesn't mean when we solve an equation that it's always positive. Okay, we're going to solve it, an absolute value equation, the same way as we solve other equations, except there's an extra equation that's involved. So here we go. Let us begin. So the first thing we're going to do with this absolute value of x minus 3 equals 10 is we're going to split it into two problems. First, we're going to write what we see. Then we're going to rewrite it. And we're going to set it equal to the opposite, which would be negative 10. Okay, so this is going to have two answers. All right, here we go. So we're going to solve the purple one first. Okay, x minus 3 equals 10. We're going to add 3. And we get x equals 13. Okay. Now the red one. Add 3. But this time we're going to get x equals negative 7. Now, you should be able to do this in your head. Check both answers. If you plug both answers in, if I take the negative, or I take the 13 and plug it in, okay, the absolute value of 13 minus 3, yes, that's going to equal positive 10. Okay, the red one, the absolute value of negative 7 minus 3, well, that would be negative 10, and the absolute value of negative 10 is 10. All right, so that's just one way you can verify that both answers work. And yes, they both are good. All right, let's move to the next one. So I'm going to make two problems. Okay, the second problem is going to be equal to negative 45. All right, solve both of them. So one answer is 11. Okay, solve the other one. And then if you go back and check it like we did the first one, you will see that both the 11 and the negative 7 work. All right, let's go to the third one. So on this one, you will notice that there is a number on the outside of the absolute value. So the first thing we have to do is take care of that. Then we will split it up. Do not split it up until after you take care of that plus 5. You got to do that first. So what we're going to do is take away 5. And then we still have the absolute value of 2x minus 7 equals 1. Now I can split it up. Okay, go through the steps. I'm not going to show all the details for this. So on this one, we're going to add 7. So that would be and then divide by 2, so one of the answers is 4. Okay, now the other one, I'm going to add 7. Divide by 2. That's a positive 6, not a negative 6. So the final answer is 3. Okay, the next one, I'm going to start it off the same way. I notice I've got a plus 8, so I am going to go ahead and get rid of that plus 8 first. All right, now we've got an issue. I hope you spotted it. The absolute value is equaling a negative. It can't. It must equal a positive. So we're done. This one does not have an answer. Again, the absolute value cannot equal a negative. Therefore, it's not possible. All right, I'm going to do number 1 with you with the graphing. And the calculator part here can be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to do number 1 with you, and then we're going to skip, and I want to do one more with you further in the packet. All right, so here we go. So we're going to type these in like we did the other packets. We're going to type in the absolute value of x. So I have to show you where the absolute value is. So let's go to our calculator. Go to your y equals. Now, it's going to look a little bit different if you've got a newer calculator than an older calculator. Okay, but it should be pretty self-explanatory on what you need to do. All right, but first of all, where is the absolute value? Okay, the absolute value, folks, is on, you got to hit the math button right here. Okay, got to hit math. Okay, and then you have to go over to num, N-U-N for number. Okay, let me do that again. Math button. Then you're going to right arrow to number. And number 1 says ABS. That stands for absolute value. Pick number 1. Now, you will notice, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got an older calculator, yours looks a little bit different. So, I'm going to show you, if you've got an older calculator, it showed up like this. Okay? It put the ABS there. Again, if you have an older calculator, that's what you are seeing in this screen. All right, so we're going to do the absolute value of x. Okay, so if you have a new calculator, you just need to put an x and you're done. If you have the old calculator, you're going to type the x, and then you need to close the parenthesis. All right, so now just go to your table. So hit the second button, hit your graph button. Again, second, graph. And then scroll to match the table. So we're going to want -3 at the top. All right, so you can see that it goes 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 in the second column. So let's fill that in. 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Well, that makes sense. The absolute value of -3 is 3. The absolute value of -2 is 2. The absolute value of -1 is 1, and so on. All right, let's graph it. Now, this is not a parabola. This forms a V. No curves. Straight lines. Okay, they need to be straight lines like that. So this is what the absolute value of the parent function looks like. Okay, that's what the parent looks like. All right, let's jump forward a little bit. Let's go to problem number, as soon as this turns. Okay, come on, you silly thing. All right, let's go to problem number 7. Problem number 7. All right, so if you're using an old calculator, you're going to need to type it in like this. It's going to look like this. So you're going to have the ABS, then you're going to put the X, okay, and then since the absolute value is behind the X, you need to close it. And then you need to put the plus 5. Okay, so those of you with the newer calculator, so we've got the absolute value of X. So what you need to do is you need to just use your arrow key, get on the other side, and put the plus 5. Okay, so it looks like that. So yours matches, the newer calculator matches exactly. All right, we're going to go to the table, and we're going to line it up. So we need to line it up with, actually we didn't have to move it. So the second one goes 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so if I graph this, I have negative 3, 8, negative 2, 7, negative 1, 6, 0, 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8. All right, there it is. So what does the adding 5 do to the graph? Well, it moved it up 5 units. All right, so don't forget to answer the questions as you go. Okay, I'm going to back up a second. I'm not going to actually fill this one completely out, but number 6, if you have the old calculator, okay, when you type this one in, you got y equals the ABS, parentheses, x minus 4. Okay, close it after the 4, and then you should be good. All right? Excellent. All right. Keep right on rolling. Get this worksheet done. Till next time.